Hello, everybody out there in podcast land. This is the Year of Shame 10, coming at you in September. Oh, I don't even know what number episode we're on. We could be looking at this. It says 7, but that would make it a July episode. But then we did I don't bloody know. It's all over the place. I'm here. My name is Neale Jarrett, commonly known on the internet as Baron von Pleb. I'm joined by the most mathematically pleasing, sensational people ever. I'm going to make Joe talk first because he's halfway through swallowing, laughing at me. So, Joe, how are you doing, Joe? Are you
very mathematically pleasing? Good. I'm all right. Yeah, it's not bad.
Good stuff. And then next to him is Mr. Matthew Moore.
Gentlemen, listeners, hello, welcome, bon voyage. That's goodbye. Hello.
Or is it as they leave, you're asking them to come back with the hello? That's what you're kind of gauging them to come back again. And then lastly, obviously, the person that plays all the video games in the podcast, David. How are you doing, Dave?
Hello, good evening. Well, as you know, it's a bit of a funny day today. We're all in a bit of a sombre mood. So from all of us, I'd just like to say, GG, Lizzie. GG.
It's a good job we got Joe here to keep an eye on us.
Absolutely. So let's kick into it. We've not got much time for recording tonight. We're recording a little bit later than usual, so let's not mess around. So we'll just do a quick round the room. How are people doing? Obviously, like you say, Dave, bit somber. But apart from that, how are you doing, mate? Are you okay? It's been I speak to you quite regularly, but it's been a little while since the last recording. How you been?
All right, much the same as ever. Done a few more things for a change. Been to a couple of gigs.
Nice.
Festival over the park at the weekend. All good, really.
This is a festival that's tribute acts, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are they just all from the same genre, the same kind of era, or are they a mixed bag? So have you got like a Queen tribute act next to Erasure, next to E17?
Sort of. Like the first day is always proper metal. So it's like,
Well, Brian Harvey's not dead. He's fine. Don't worry about Brian Harvey. He's just an idiot. Sorry, go on, David.
Yeah, so the first day is just like proper metal day. So you've got your usuals, AC/DC, that kind of thing. But there is a Prodigy act on at the top of the bill. And then the second day, it's a bit more family friendly. You got Duran Duran and The Cure and Smiths and all sorts of stuff. Beastie Boys, which I'm most looking forward to.
Please tell me that they have really good puns on the actual real names of the bands. So Duran Duran will be called like Duran Durant or something like that. Spelt differently.
No, there's no one as good as Boy Jovi.
Boy Jovi. Yeah. Or the Antarctic Monkeys.
Oh, Radiohead is tribute Radio Ted.
Oh, wow.
No, it's no really good ones. Iffy Clyro.
I used to quite like Hayseed Dixie with their sort of bluegrass AC/DC stuff. Was great.
I did. I'm going to search for this while we're in the middle of the recording. But there was a festival in Sheffield over in July, like a proper music festival, 3-day music festival, and they had people like Kasabian and Madness and quite big artists and stuff. But I was in one of the tents, and there was a Elvis tribute act that just did Nirvana songs, and it was
I've seen him
frigging amazing.
Elvana,
there you go. That's the one.
Yeah,
it was absolutely. So he's on stage doing an Elvis impression all the way through, and it turns out that actually, like 3/4 way through, he kind of breaks character, and not only is he kind of somebody impersonating Kurt Cobain, but impersonating Elvis, he's actually from Newcastle, so he's actually got like a proper Geordie accent as well. It was fucking hilarious. Sorry,
quality.
Swearing already.
There was another one like that called Dred Zeppelin years ago, and they were a Led Zeppelin cover band with an Elvis singer in a reggae style. Look them up if you ever want to see some amazing genre bending.
That's a YouTube search right there, isn't it? Trying to find that. Bloody hell. Crikey. Oh, well.
Anyway, enough of that. So yeah.
Well, good. All good.
Some good stuff.
Excellent stuff. Joe, how you been keeping, mate? Back to work? Back to the grindstone?
I'm trying to think when the last time we spoke was.
Ages.
Was it sort of July?
You missed the Jay Stokes interview, didn't you? So yeah, July.
The whole of August to talk about, because I went to a festival. It was a very family friendly one down the road. Then went deaf in one ear afterwards. Was deaf in one ear for a week, which is a sign of age, perhaps.
Yeah,
not particularly fun.
That's worrying. Was it like a ringing?
Well, it's very worrying now. No, it was almost completely deaf in one, but it was this lovely bit of chat, a bit of wax issue. It was wax. As you get older, I guess it builds up more. I've never had it before. I was reassured by some friends who had been through it that it was going to but it wasn't very nice going deaf in one ear.
No,
I wouldn't recommend it.
Freaked me out.
Don't do it.
See, I've watched far too many ASMR videos where they do ear cleaning and things.
Yes.
So I'd quite like that done to me in real life.
See, you go down a bit of a rabbit hole figuratively when you start watching them on TikTok and stuff like that, when they actually start feeding, like, you know, the kind of tweezers in and pulling it and teasing it out and stuff. It's weirdly fascinating but gross at the same time. It's like pulling an alien out of your
Speaking
ear.
of weird sort of alien rabbit holes, we've also gone down the alien abduction rabbit hole, and there's an absolutely cracking alien abduction documentary on Netflix that I would recommend to everyone in the world.
Okay, what's it called?
It's called
worst recommendation ever.
I've Been Abducted by
Yeah.
an Alien or something like that. I can't remember. I wasn't prepared for this bit. Never ad lib.
Tell me about it. I just did the
Dave's
fucking
seen
intro.
some of it. I don't think you were around because we did. This is linked quite nicely into a community night. So we had a bit of a mini community night in the middle of the summer, towards the end of the summer, maybe, with the quiz night. With a few.
Oh, that was
with
the last
games and
bank,
stuff.
the last bank holiday special. We'll come back to that in a moment.
But during that, we were watching that alien. I think it's called I Was Abducted by Aliens. I'll look it up and get back to you. There's no point in looking at that. But it is utterly fantastic. Especially the woman who talks about the correlation between having a Kentucky and getting abducted by aliens. As in, getting a Kentucky Fried Chicken. I don't always have a Kentucky when I'm abducted by aliens, but
If I've got the option,
more often than not,
if you give me the option, I'm
should
going to
say-
take it.
When
it was absolutely incredible.
when Joe was showing us this, I put it on to this Zoom, which we'll discuss shortly. However, I got called away, so it just kept playing whatever was on my YouTube list. So I was downstairs sorting something out in sheer terror because I watched some strange stuff. And I was sharing screens and not able to see what was on.
People building, bunkers at the bottom of the garden or in the woods, kind of thing. Weird shit. Anyway, okay, thanks, Joe. It's gone. His interest has been piqued elsewhere. Mr. Moore, how are you?
I'm all right, fella, me lad.
you
So,
been?
Joe, I'm all right. I've moved, as you can see, new background and everything. Yeah.
Yes.
I know you got your shed for the first time ever, gentlemen. I've got a garage. I've got a garage.
Yeah.
It's got electrics in there. It's got lights in there. It's essentially the pre-tip.
Yeah, the holding space before you can be bothered to go to the tip. Yep, that's what mine's used for as well. Gardening stuff, like shears and stuff like that, and that type of stuff. Christmas stuff, and then the kind of waiting zone for Skip. Yep, same here, mate.
Yeah.
It's good, isn't it?
I also want to thank and just give a huge props to Mr. Southall over here, who listeners would have not known a single thing different. He edited all of the last main show. The JC show, the Jay Stokes show.
Yes.
I was like just late getting to it, and I think within 24 hours of us like uploading all of our MP3s to our shared area, Dave's like, "Oh, I've had to go at Summit. I didn't realise I thought you just snipped out the bit that we needed
I
from
did
Stokes."
as well.
And then he goes like,
No, I did. I had to go at doing a full episode
And
and
I
sound,
I
music,
sat down on the weekend or something, and I downloaded all the files, and I started thinking, fucking hell, here we go, man, it's time to get the old editing on the go. And Dave goes, do you not check that one that I did? And he did the whole thing. Now, what I did, Dave, because I've never not sanity checked what goes out, I did listen to it all the way through just to make sure you didn't leave me in there sounding too much of a jerk off at any point. And firstly, you didn't. And secondly, it sounded brilliant. Well done, Dave.
Yes, well done.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I thought it was a snippet too, and I was just like, I'll listen to that in a bit. It's just Dave just tinkering. But when you said it was the whole thing, I was like, I was blown away. It was fantastic, Dave. Well done.
Thanks. Yeah, it was good fun. That I thought I better learn how to do some of this. You know, you never know when Matt might get run over by a bus.
Feel free to carry on. I'll cancel my £30
No,
a month
you're all right.
subscription.
This is going to be a long one.
Oh, good stuff. Anything else, Matthew, you've been up to? Anything cool? I mean, are you all moved in now? I'd say it is everything out of boxes, but I can see a box behind you that's not unpacked. I mean, I was gonna save that question, but what's that trophy for?
So this has been queried a few times, and even in my previous home, this was just sat in the corner, and someone say, "Is that a trophy?" I'll say, "Yeah," and I've got to try and explain why I've got a Mr. and Mrs. winning trophy with the Midlife Gamer emblem on it. So that's your question. No, I'm not quite unpacked yet.
No, not quite there. Oh well, no problem.
Obviously, listeners can't see this, but we can see Mr. Moore, and he's also, as part of his move, he's got a lovely new stand-up desk, and he looks dynamic. He's leaping around.
I know.
He's got his moves on.
Wow. I want.
Matt, it suits you. It's doing you some good, mate.
I want to play. Is he sat up or is he sat down? Game as we go through. I think you turn your camera off, Matt, as we go as you play. Alter your desk height. And then we'll all guess whether you're sat down or stood up. Just move your chair out of the way so we can't tell. Because I couldn't tell right now there and dusted that you're not in a prone position.
Now, what I will tell you is, if we're all lucky enough to have a significant other, well done. If we have a significant other who's happy to go down on you, even more well done. If you've got a significant other who's happy to go down on you underneath the desk, even better. Now, you get a standing desk. You make that so much easier for your significant other half. They've got more room to manoeuvre.
I only ticked the very first box. I've got a significant other. The rest of it is way beyond me. Fucking hell.
Usually Neil's just got the dog below the desk.
Yeah, exactly.
Just let you know, she's not here now. She's not here.
Yeah, bullshit.
Damn it,
I'm calling bullshit.
To see Joe pop up then, like Chad.
But like that scene from Police Academy. In the that's what I'm expecting.
Many
different reasons.
Oh, wait. A new challenger has entered the game.
Okay, so intros. What have we been playing? You know what, Mr. Moore? Whilst you're still red hot from that last update, what have you been playing? Have you been playing any video games of late?
Yeah, I have. So I'm going to start off with, I mean, let's face it, Matty's not doing a year shame properly, is he? He's just hanging around for year 10, having some fun, trying to save some money, hanging around with you lot.
I mean, we all know this. It's a subtext to the entire show that you're not really in it. You're kind of in, you're kind of out. You're making your own.
We're all pointing at you like body snatchers, going.
Well, you'll be glad to know I've not spent any money other than the fact that I have a subscription to Xbox. So I thought, you know what? There was a title on there, and I kept looking at it, and it was the Guardians of the Galaxy game. And I've played it for about 5-6 hours, and I don't know if I like it. If I like it. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, it's a well polished game. If it weren't for the MCU, I don't think I'd have had any interest in Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't think anybody else did. I'm kind of glad, because I'm kind of over the MCU at the moment. I'm kind of glad that they didn't go for any of the likenesses or any of the voices, so they all look a little bit different. None of the same catchphrases, but it still has that charm that I certainly liked about Guardians, and of course the soundtrack that goes with it as well. And like the comedy's there, but when you're not. So if you're not having a conversation with someone, you're on a mission, or it's third person adventure, shooter, light puzzle work, and the shooting doesn't feel that great. The platforming doesn't feel like that. There's nothing wrong with it.
It's just not one bit's not really good. It's all okay.
Yeah, but I am still playing it. Like I'll think to myself, I've treated myself. So now I've got my new setup now. I've got my television now, not wall mounted far too high like it used to. I've got it on a normal kind of a stand with my Xbox. And I found myself wanting to sit there on a weekend especially and actually play some games like I used to, like get some early morning gaming before real weekend starts.
Set your alarm. I had an alarm on my phone that says weekend gaming, and it goes off at 7:30. Leave the missus in bed, get 2 hours.
I've got one too.
Yeah. Get 1 or 2 hours in undisturbed, have a cup of tea and a little bit of undisturbed gaming in it, and then a nice good wank. I'm joking.
Well, there is a Sam Fox poster in the first room of Guardians of the Galaxy.
have you played it, Dave?
I've played probably about 5 or 6 hours myself.
Okay, and what do you think? Am I ringing true, or am I missing something?
Yeah, see, well, I've always been a big comic fan, so I knew Guardians of the Galaxy well before like the MCU and things, and the game is actually truer to the comics than it is the movies. I've never played the Telltale game, so I couldn't tell you if that one. They did a Telltale game. The Walking Dead. What's it called? Not the Beast Among Us, Wolf Among Us. Yeah. So I don't know if that's similar, but yeah, I just enjoyed it because I was enjoying the dynamics between the characters and all the nostalgia bits. As you know, I'm a complete retro head and I love nostalgic shit. So it's right up my alley. However, as I'll get onto later, and as I said when we talked about it last time, I just don't want to get into a big game, and I can see that it's not even a massive game, but it's a averagely long game, and I'm not up for that at the moment, but I will be. I've got that one in the bank to definitely 100% go back to. But I agree with what you were saying. It's slightly floaty, slightly janky. The engine and stuff isn't amazing. Some bits of it look incredible, but the dialogue is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. One thing it took me the first time it happened, I've done it a few times, is like you do your super move when everyone's meter's full and you pull your triggers or you press whatever you do, your super move is you all get around for a huddle. And you have to be the one to say what the motivational speech is going to be, and if you get it right,
like an American football kind of like cool.
So just to add to that, what you only play as Star-Lord, so you only play as the one character, and everyone else you can sort of direct their moves and stuff. But if they're pissed off at you, they might not do it. They might just go, no, and so on.
Not this one.
And what Matt's talking about is you do these huddles, so you like sort of team up for stuff, but you have to sort of pick from some options. I don't really want to spoil it, but it's a brilliant mechanic.
I will say that I spent so long trying to work out what to choose. I didn't know that there was a timer, an invisible timer, and they all went, "Oh, for God's sake, Quill, what are you talking about? I'm going back after this fight." I thought, damn it,
that's
Rocky.
cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that's. I mean, once again, it to me feels like a free game. I'm paying for a subscription, but it felt free.
Yeah, because the thing is, in a way, in a fashion, it is, because you're paying for your online subscription, you're paying for your games of gold, you'll get all these kind of bells and whistles, and further at some point down the line, it does kind of feel like a free game.
So what else? So Joe, while I was on the Xbox, I had a very late night. And I didn't know what to do, and I started going through everything that was available on the Games Pass, and I was getting very excited when I would see the old 360 logo, and I was thinking, what have they got? They've got some of the old banjos. I was never really into them, and I kept poking around, and then I found myself just playing bullshit. Well, I say bullshit, but what we used to consider like the crappy XBLA games from the 360. I was playing Boom Boom Rocket for at least 10 minutes longer than I should have done.
Yes, Matt, come into my world.
and then once again, Dave, and we often speak about this, but I fired up Age of Booty again, and I actually, because I tried to get into some online games, and I finally got into an online game, and people had their microphones on. I was like, God damn it, microphones on. And they're all Americans, and I think I fell out of a party or something like that, and straight away I've got these two dudes adding me as friends and messaging me like, we found another one of us, another Age of Booty player, I joined their party. I went, all right, gents. They're like, Manus, you know what you're doing? I'm like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, man. And I was like, I've not played this game for fucking years, man. I can't believe that there are people still playing it. And he goes, I think there's about 16 of us.
Oh my god. We have a convention every year. Turn up at somebody's house, have a party, have a booty party. What?
And it was the only trouble with it is that if you're still playing that game and you're one of the 16, you're better than me. And although I knew I knew how to play the game, I don't know how to play at their level, maybe. So I still think at some point, Mr. Southall, we need to, because you can play AI, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've played it with Gav one night, and we put a couple of AI on. So it's definitely doable. Yeah, we have to. We have to stop talking about this. We have to actually do it.
Time to plunder.
Oi!
I'll land off my own quickly, and it might lead us into some more talk. But we all got together, so talking about threatening to do things and finally doing them. Mr. Southall, with his new computery stuff, was able to fire things into the internet. And we all played a game together, and I think other people watched us play it together. It was amazing.
Fantastic, wasn't it? I really enjoyed that. It feels like
it's great fun. It was good fun.
It feels like it was ages ago.
It was.
I feel like it was like actually months ago. But can we do one of those again soon? Because I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah, I'll put that in the notes about apologies, because what we were going to record this last week, and we were going to do another YOS at the movies night, but life's got in the way somewhat at the moment. So yeah, what a night that was. That was proper popcorn. Put your feet up.
I'd play
have
that.
A laugh.
I'd play that. I know you've got like a catalogue for us to go through, but I'd play that one again. I thought it was really funny. How we all kind of gave personas to the characters and the backstories and stuff like that. If you've not listened to it, people that listen to this, go and do it. Go and watch it on YouTube. It's amazing. It's so funny. So good.
I should just add that game was called Bloodshaw.
Bloodshaw, yeah. What, are we lined up? What we're doing next? Do we know yet, or is this a conversation offline?
No, you can just pick one. I've got probably about 12 of them.
You did show us a few trailers afterwards, and I think there was one that caught my eye, and I can't remember what it was.
Was it the dating one?
Probably.
That's the one then. That's what we're doing next.
Cool. Let's do that next week. Sweet.
Dating by committee. Middle-aged men.
Yeah. Okay.
Just finish my side off. I'm trying to think if I've saved any. I'm trying to think if I've saved any money. I don't know if I have. I moved house. Moving house sucks because I've got to get myself a new energy tariff. That was fun. Joe. Jesus Christ, energy.
Getting yourself what? I didn't catch that.
Energy tariffs because I mean.
Ow! Yeah, no, that's.
I think I might have told you this when I moved in March. And the tariff, the company that was in my current house, my new house, they sent me like an estimated bill on the estimated previous tariff, and it was £520 a month. They wanted to charge me, and I've been given them meter readings. I've not set up direct debit or anything like that. I've been given submitted my own meter readings for gas and electricity every 30 days, and I've been paying £82 a month.
Ledge.
So. Don't sign up for direct debits because if you've moved to somewhere new, Matthew, just do it yourself. Just get up for your arse and do it yourself, and don't let them estimate because they've got to fucking lie to you. But yeah, moving house is expensive, Matthew, isn't it? Isn't it, Josh? Have you are you? Oh God, it's just a nightmare.
Well, this is still an empty room. My office. I've got my nice desk, and that's it. I need to get. I mean, I sound
egg
echoey
boxes.
As hell.
Egg boxes. We're going to send you through the mail. Let's get like a charity going. Just send Matt everybody spare egg boxes. Paint them black.
I've just come up with a nickname for Matt, and I can't believe we haven't thought about this before. Matthew is the MoneySavingSexpert. Okay, tumbleweed.
No.
I've just seen Dave's heart break.
Yeah, I know.
That was properly. Yeah, that was all keyed up and ready to go.
I'm
Sorry,
not.
Dave.
I don't think I'm drunk enough, Dave, for something like that. Not yet, anyway.
God damn it.
If you just said
You
that
go
after a
and have
couple
some
more
heroin
beers,
and come back in
yeah,
a moment.
I'm gonna have some really strong crack, and then I'll come back. Is that you then, Matthew? Is that everything from your side?
That's pretty much me in a nutshell, I reckon.
All right, excellent. Well, should we jump into a Facebook question because Dave's awesome. He's put the kind of question out to the community on the Facebook group, and we've had quite a few, haven't we? Submitted, Dave, this week. Do you want to pick one? Do you want to pick one at random, or shall I?
You're the hostess with mostess this evening.
I'm just okay. I'm not playing to my strengths. We know that from the introduction. Okay, so I'm going to pick Serena Haywood's question first. Okay, so if Stuart shits in the woods, but Dave isn't around to see it, does the shitting make a sound?
Yeah, there's bound to be something that'll hear it, unless it's some sort of weird post-apocalyptic shit in the wood.
Yeah. The thing is, as well, I don't know. I don't know whether I should say this out loud, but I can really imagine Stuart shitting in the woods as well. I can actually kind of like picture it. Something that he would definitely do.
He's a known wood shitter, isn't he?
Yeah,
Like,
he's got that
shitter.
look about him, like he doesn't give a fuck.
Look at the wood shitter.
Yeah,
Is he
he's
on the list?
Yeah.
The look at the wood shit.
I think that's on his dating profile.
Peeping at people. He's, when you walk.
Known wood shitter.
Yeah, you're walking through the woods, taking the dog for a walk, and there's Stuart just peering around a tree as he's just popped one out.
Known but as yet unconvicted.
Yeah. He's not known by the police as of yet. A second question.
Just like Prince Andrew.
I should just add, there's not an awful lot of woods in the West Midlands, so we'd have to
So
go
he's a
and
commuter.
find a wood.
So he has to catch a bus and a tram to get there. But at least, imagine that holding
It's
a poo
well premeditated. So
Holding-
I definitely think it is making a sound.
making you to the fact that he's had to hold it in through an entire tram ride and bus ride. That's just awful. Second question, which I can't answer this, but you guys might be able to, is simply Madonna or Beyonce?
Anyone who isn't answering Beyonce needs to have a little think, don't they?
Well, I think I'm with Dave here. I'm going retro with my jazz.
I'm Madge all day.
Madge.
And Harold all night.
Madge all day.
Did anybody watch the last fucking episode of Neighbours? I did.
So I came back from a night out where everyone had been talking about it. I just watched the whole thing on my own. A few sheets to the wind.
It was weird. It was like one of those Doctor Who crossovers where like multiple doctors meet and things. I couldn't get my head around it.
No, I didn't see it. Why? What happened?
It seemed like the main story. Like I thought it was going to be, I don't know, asteroid hits Ramsey Street or something. Just it's not. Everyone just decides they're moving out and then is a bit sad, and then Kylie and Jason turn up. And there's some sort of force ghost of Madge at one point, but again, I'm not sure if that happened.
Did you ever see the one where Bouncer was on drugs?
Yeah, that's what I was coming to.
Was what?
There's an infamous actual Neighbours episode that they aired where it was
Bouncer's Dream.
Bouncer's Dream, yeah, where Bouncer's on drugs.
Yeah.
So was Bouncer a force ghost as well, or the sons of Bouncer?
I think there might have been a flashback, but I don't think there was a force ghost.
See, the thing is, what
Children of Bouncer would have been good. The litter.
Didn't they bring back all the people that were in? Because I've never really watched Neighbours. They brought everybody back who became famous after Neighbours back in again. Did they just buy the street and just level it?
Interestingly, yes and no. So they got Kylie and Jason to rock up, and why not? Because they're the bit that they are the old school stars. However, I think they cheesed it somewhat with when they sort of like, oh, we've got all your friends to put up, like the thing that I did for Darren, like we got all your friends to not have to fly out to Australia because they don't live here anymore. They're far too famous and rich to bother about it anymore. But of course, I'll do you essentially doing a little cameo. So who was on there? You had your, I can't remember.
Natalie Imbruglia was on
Natalie
it.
Imbruglia, she called it in with a cameo.
Yeah. Holly Valance.
Harlequin.
Oh,
yeah,
Margot Robbie.
Yeah, she's like fucking back to Ramsey Street, but I'll do you a quick 10-minute thing on my dodgy phone. Hey guys,
They should have had some sort of like plague-like virus where they all have to stay in the homes. They could have just done a massive Zoom call, save loads.
The weirdest bit was how much Guy Pearce was in it. Like, it was... He held the show together as far as I was
clearly,
concerned.
he was probably just in Australia at the time, and like I say, he was probably the one that had the most time to read through scripts.
Did he do it as Priscilla or in Memento style? Did he work backwards?
Yeah, he had the entire
That would have been amazing.
entire script written on his arms, like plot points. Bouncer takes drugs, has dream. Full episode. Going back to Serena's question, even though I grew up with Madonna, I hated her. Sorry. I'd have to say Beyonce. I'm with the Joe. We split down the middle, Serena, so you've got us. Got us where you want us.
It might be an exact age split. Like, it could be. I think this needs to go out to a poll.
I'm older than Matt, so no. Unfortunately, it's just a taste thing, surely. Good taste, bad taste, that type of thing. Anywho,
I love a bit of Campol Madge. Quick story.
Come on then, here
about
we go. 2-hour podcast ruined already. Come on.
No, it's a real quick one. We went to see her in Cardiff years ago, and Adele was supposed to be supporting her then. That was before Adele became mega stardom. And Adele didn't turn up, so basically we were in this arena for about 5 hours waiting for her to come on, and it was so bad that they were walking around with free beer on like huge tanks on the back, just filling people's drinks up with beer. So by the time she got on, I was absolutely shit-faced, obviously. And when she come on, she walked out and said something like, "Oh, sorry for the delay." And I just went, "About fucking time." And I had an actual death stare from the actual Madonna. Just full on. It was straight at me.
God.
That would have got me a bit hard.
Yeah. Has anybody else had like an encounter with somebody famous while they're on stage? Because I've got a story as well. Have you, Matt? Have you ever like been at a gig or anything like that? And I was at Reading Festival in, I think it was 1996, and Stone Roses were playing, and Ian Brown called me I think he called me a knobhead. Because I was in the crowd. I was 1996. How old I was quite young. I was waving a Union Jack with Stone Roses written in the middle, very unaware that he's not into the Union and royalty, etc., etc. And he told me to put the flag down. And then when I did, because I'm going to do what I'm told. And then I put it back up again about 2 songs later, and then he told me to put the fucking flag down. You have to beep that. It's that one. Put that C word out. And then there was they'd actually printed this. It was actually in the NME the next week. They were actually kind of in the review of the gig. That he spotted a Union Jack twice in the crowd and told the former person to put it down. So yeah, that's my pointing. It's a death stare from the crowd, Dave.
Excellent.
I have almost certainly had many of these because I can be a bit of a knob. But
What, you, Jack?
no,
You? No, that's your brother. That's your evil brother. That's your Michael Knight. Your evil brother is the one that's a knobhead.
The one I didn't quite get in trouble. This is when I was about 14, 15. I went to see The Audience. That's the name of the band with Sophie Ellis-Bextor in.
Mm-hmm.
And inserted myself into a group of people with backstage passes. They were counting
Physically into them.
Just jumped in the middle of it.
He was in someone's anus as they were going backstage.
I've seen the boys.
If anyone wants a tip to get backstage, it is sneak inside someone's anus. If you make yourself small enough to fit into an anus.
It's the boys,
No,
Series
just jumped
3.
in and ended up stealing Sophie Ellis-Bextor's gin and getting told to give her the gin back. I said, "I will if you get me a beer." They got me a crate of beer. It was fantastic.
I love that you bargained your way out of this.
And on the way in, so I was like position 5 in this group of 10 that were going in, and they were counting, and they went, "No, you haven't got enough passes for him." And I went, "It's all right, he's with us," and they let him in. It was fantastic.
Brilliant.
Nice. Okay, let's move on. Joe, what have you been playing since we last recorded?
There should be, by rights, a gigantic list at this point of tons of things I've done
Oh, yeah.
with my month of freedom.
Oh.
There's a list of about 5 games that I've actually played.
That's still not bad going, mate.
It's not bad for me. Some of them are smaller games though. So Inside was one of them. That was great. And that's one that had just been floating about on my Switch home screen for ages. I've been told it was great. No, it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, that one. Weird. I think I was talking to you, Dave, towards the end, but the weird sort of twist at the end. But it was a great it sort of confuses you a bit, sets you off balance a little bit.
Everybody talks about the ending. I've not completed it, but feel free to talk about it. It's absolutely fine.
Don't read about the ending. Don't look it up. Don't discuss it with anyone. It's properly one that you have to come across yourself.
I'm going to probably YouTube it after this. Can't be honest.
Won't have the same impact, believe me.
Okay, sorry, Joe. Please continue.
Another day. Well, I had one sort of day which was absolutely joyous. So I had nothing to do, and I just went. It was a bit like channeling Dave. I just went through a box of old games and consoles, and I ended up spending about 2 hours genuinely playing Electroplankton on the Nintendo DS, which is an old, obscure, Japanese-only release music-making game where you sort of just rub the screen to make weird things happen. It's fantastic and so weird. And it came with a free set of headphones back in the day. It must have been imported. None of the instructions are in English, and you're basically underwater with these tiny little creatures that make sounds. From the puzzled look on people's faces, none of you have ever heard of this.
No.
Apart from Dave.
Yeah.
Why have you heard about this, Dave?
Well, I should add that while Joe was doing this, he was having a good rummage. It prompted me, and I went up the loft and fished out a box simply labelled handhelds, and we had a lovely afternoon sending each other absolutely tons of pictures and trying stuff. No, at one point, I don't know if you're going to mention this, Joe, but at one point we both got a copy on the 3DS of a game called Metroid Hunters. So we had about 20 minutes trying to find anything that we could charge the DSs with. And then we tried to get into a game together on a what is it, 20-year-old DS game. Unfortunately, the servers no longer work, which was sad.
Yeah. Come on, Nintendo. That's disappointing. Get it together.
Yeah. There's a fandom there. It's like 16 players playing Age of Booty. Come on. They're dedicated.
I don't know if you can speak any more about what the findings, Joe. Otherwise, this podcast could be very, very long.
Yeah, maybe.
But we had a great time with that.
It was great fun. It was good fun. That was great. I did come across an old Game Boy camera. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but the old Game Boy camera stuff. So I was looking at pictures from ages ago, and I think it was on here before, the little juggling game that's got Ali's face on it as he's just juggling about. I thought, God, I need to play some of his games again. I have had a little bit of a go on the PS4. It's not great. It's making a lot of noise. I've had a go on. There's a bit more we can talk about on this, but I think it'd probably be better off see if we've got time at the end, because me and Dave had quite a bit of a discussion about this as well, about how that's going. I've ended up, instead of playing through his version of The Witcher, this is a bit of a cheat, I've been reading the Witcher series of books, which I'm kind of counting as tangential to it, because he completely was obsessed with it, kept going on about how you sort of apply oils to the swords, all of that sort of business. So I feel like that's a spiritual successor to carrying on with that game. And my the Kindle doesn't make anything like as much noise as the PS4, so it's kind of a bit more of a pleasant experience.
Yeah.
There were so many. I have figured out, Dave, the one game I am convinced you don't have is the Japanese to English translation software for the Nintendo DS.
I do not have that. That is not on my pile of shame. Are you going to try and complete the Japanese language?
It might be a difficult task. But there's so weird, because over there's so many different applications for it. The DS was basically a little computer as well, so there was a cooking game out there where it talked you through recipes step by step. I can't remember if that got released over here. But
not
this was
Cooking Mama.
No, it's different to that. It's like the top screen is like pictures of what you do, and the bottom's instructions. You just click along and like how to make a spaghetti bolognese. So it's just like a cookbook on the Nintendo DS. There's quite a few titles like that. And the dictionary was really, really useful because you can write onto the screen in Japanese, and it'll tell you what it is in English. So they mainly use it for going the other way around. I think that's the most obscure. After that, we played a couple of This was great fun. It was an afternoon with Helen playing Untitled Geese Game, which I'm counting as a completely separate game, because they released the 2-player version of Untitled Goose Game, where it's the two of you sort of doing it at the same time, and it was so much just great nonsense messing about both being geese together. And Helen kept saying, "Can we be dickhead geese again?"
Aren't all geese dickhead?
Did they change the title of that? Is it Untitled Geese Game?
I think when it's 2-player, it becomes Untitled Geese Game. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Aside from that, I've been making my way through Horizon Zero Dawn Frozen Wilds. Like, properly got into it. I'm towards the last sort of section now, and it's quite hard actually. It's quite a bit of a challenge to it.
Is that the DLC to the first game?
Yeah. Which I'd sort of put up because I finished the first game and wanted more of it, but I also it's weird. But I didn't want to finish because I'd finished it and I really liked that world. I wanted to be able to come back to it rather than have another section of it there and then. So having a bit of a break and coming back to it, but it was about a 2-year break instead of what I was planning. So it was great. That was really, really good. I've been ridiculously hammering Pokemon Go, probably to my own detriment, because I've got a couple of mates that are playing it and messaging each other, and there's a way now of doing remote raids. So it's the one thing you're locked out of unless you've got a group of mates in the same place at the same time. So to do the raids where you go and get big old Pokemon. Mm-hmm. But we've figured out you can do remote raids, and there's an online matchmaking thing, so you can do that. It's not going to win any. Well, I don't think it's going to win any awards for innovative gaming, but I'm quite enjoying it. Collecting them all. I think that's what it's all about, isn't it?
You know,
you've got to get them all.
Since that came out.
Sorry.
Since that came out, there's been there's various, because I've installed it and played a bit of it myself. There's various gyms like very close round here, and there's been a bunch of people who, whenever I go for a walk after work, there's absolutely loads of them all gathered together on the phones, so they must be doing those raids.
Now, see, I went along to when I was living in Wrexham, which is a bit of a town. It's now a city, bit of a town, not quite Telford levels, Dave, but it's so there'd be groups of people, hoodlums, that were just wandering around from place to place that looked like there was some sort of drug, but they were playing Pokemon Go as well. But there was massive sort of swathes of them going from one place to the next, like hordes. Yeah, I joined in once and thought, no, these aren't my people.
Did you go in disguise with the hood up?
Yeah, you got it. No, I actually went on a bike so I could disappear quickly, and it was handy. But no, yeah, that was that. The other thing, Horizon Zero Dawn. That I've been doing a lot of tangential, not quite gaming, but gaming related stuff. Like I said, reading The Witcher. Are we talking about telly later? Are we going to do that later? Because I think that's me done for gaming.
Hang on, Joe. Your mic's cut out. All my headphones have.
Your headphones have, mate. I can hear him fine.
Right, bear with. Sorry about that.
It's all right, no worries.
So I think I'm pretty much done with the
we can catch up on
the collection of games.
We can catch up on TV bits and bobs later, Joe. No problem, mate.
A bit later on, yeah. But yeah, no, it's been good, and I did really enjoy those couple of afternoons where it was just gaming, and having the time to just do that and not think about anything else was great. That afternoon, yeah. The good thing about the afternoon mucking about doing nothing with Dave was just the shared enthusiasm, I think, of it, because Dave was sending me the odd picture, sending them back, and just I think there's some audio from it as well, but we'll see if we can get some chiptune. Did we record any of that, Dave?
Sorry, my earphones were just broken, so I didn't hear the last minute or so.
Did we record any of the electroplankton audio from that chat?
I'm pretty sure I can get some back out.
Was this the evening where both of you?
No, it was an afternoon.
You drank. Yeah, was this not?
No, there's no drinking.
Oh, okay, fine. That was another occasion then when you were up till 3 o'clock in the morning drinking then.
Oh no, that was after the YOS at the movies. Me and Joe stayed up extremely late.
Okay, cool.
That was quite late, wasn't it?
Drunkenards. Okay, is that you do then, Joe? Everything you've been playing?
I think it's me done.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump back into a Facebook question because, like I say, there's quite a few of them. Looking up and down, random. Cy Stevens. So a previous host of the Year of Shame, in fact, one of the Year 1 hosts. He's got 3 questions here. First one is quite a large question, but let's try and keep it brief if possible because this could be another 10-15 minute kind of section if you let it be. He says his first question is, what game are you looking forward to purchasing on the 1st of January? So at this moment in time, we're in September, is there any game that you've missed out on right now or you foresee missing out on that's going to be your very first purchase come New Year's Day? More?
I've got a definite
I
one.
will say I'm kind of glad that old me would have got caught up in the hype and got myself Destiny 2 at the movies, whatever the latest version's called. Played it for a few days and realised that I don't have the staying power to do Destiny. So that could have potentially been my January the 1st game, but also come January the 1st when I'd thought about it again after that hype, I'd have said, you know what, mate, you're all right. So I really have nothing.
Good. That's a good thing, mate. That's good. What about you, Joe? Is there anything in particular that you think, you know what, actually, I mean, this is in my memory banks. I'm going to spend on New Year's Day and I'm going to buy this.
Elden Ring. It's got to be, hasn't it? It's the one that I'm the one that hasn't succumbed to it, so it's got to be Elden
yes.
Ring.
You look Frodo versus the One Rings pull.
Okay.
Yeah. But, like Matthew, I had a very quick dalliance on Destiny 2. Very quick. Because it was on Stadia, because it's free, and I already had it. Just to pick up some of the stuff that was just hanging about in the... There's some treasure in a chest somewhere. It nearly pulled me in. So there's that Thunderlord's
some treasure in a chest. That's like saying, you know, a speck of dust in the entire universe.
No, Dave knows what I'm talking about.
What are you talking
about?
Thing
exactly. It was so for the last 2 weeks, or I don't know if it was just for a week, all of the expansions for Destiny 2 were available.
Oh, I know what chest you're talking about.
For free. And so as soon as you jumped into what's it called? It's not called the face. What's
the
it
helm?
Called? Something.
The helmet.
Helm. That's
it's not
it.
the helmet. The helm.
It's the helmet. You get in the helmet, and the Lord, your new Lord, gives you a box of treasure for rubbing the helmet.
to rub on
That's it.
yourself. You have to rub the treasure out on yourself. Yeah.
The Thunderlord's treasure from the helmet chest.
Okay.
I did exactly the same. I logged in, realised that I was in the Witch Queen. Quit out ASAP, went and picked the treasure up, went to look to see if there's various rewards on Twitch you've been able to claim. So I've been claiming them even though I haven't been playing it for months and months and months. Went to go and collect them, none of them was there. Just decided I can't be fucked with this. Deleted, done.
So there's no resolution. You didn't find out how to get those Amazon rewards.
I had a quick look. Lots of people were experiencing the same thing, and Bungie aren't fixing it. I did all the things that you're supposed to do, like relinking your accounts, blah blah blah. So I just decided, it's probably a good sign. Delete.
So
are you still playing Destiny, Neale?
I am, but we'll come to that. We're in the middle of a Facebook question at the moment. Dave, is there a game that your number one game that you're going to be buying on New Year's Day?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a real small little indie game as well. It's called Arcade Paradise, and it's basically a game where you try to turn a laundrette into an arcade. So you do like menial tasks in the laundrette and cleaning it up and stuff, and over time you get to buy arcades, and it's a full 3D walk around, and you can play the games that you get installed, and it's like an arcade management sim, and it is right up my alley.
Basically, it's what you'd like to do with your life, isn't it, Dave? Just
basically
make and run your own arcade. Imagine doing that.
Oh, I'd love it.
And for me, I think day 1, January, I don't think there's anything that's been released so far this year that I'm holding on to. I think for me, it's probably going to be Starfield, because that's due sometime. If that's, I can't even remember if that's this year. No, that's going to push back to last year, to next year now, isn't it? So, probably not. I think, even though saying that, I've probably Dying Light 2 is something that I missed out on this year that I might pick up if it's cheap enough on January. Okay.
That's a very good call.
Yeah. She then goes on to a next question saying, oh God, here we go. Oh, sorry. Sai does. Other than saving up for your incoming electricity bill, have you found yourself spending money that you would have spent on games on any other medium? In year 1, I reduced my gaming pile, but my Blu-ray pile got much larger. So have you been spending money on anything? Well, this is probably not applicable to you, Matt, unfortunately, because you've been saving money left, right and centre. But Dave, have you been buying anything else with your gaming money?
Craft beers, does that count?
I've been doing exactly the same. I've been gaining a beer belly.
Obviously, I bought myself the PC upgrade, but that was a kind of necessary thing for work as well.
Yeah.
Other than that, no. To be honest, yeah, I'm being quite frugal at the moment because times are not great.
And also, the essence of Matt Moore is with you. He's got it on your shoulder when you're about to buy it, saying, "No, could you get it for cheaper?"
The MoneySavingSexpert.
Yeah.
You try all you like, Dave. It's not taking off.
It is.
He's already created a Twitter.
Your Zoom name.
He's already created a Twitter account. Put your name on it, Matt. You've got a second ghost account right there.
I'm only going to get one more person to say it, and then it's a meme.
I know Matthew's laughing because he knows what that first ghost account is. Joe, have you been spending your gaming money on anything else?
I've been buying a lot of sort of tat.
Okay.
A lot of sort of trinkets and nonsense, and weirdly,
Trinkets.
Trinkets and nonsense, Neil. He's getting them both types.
Tat, trinket, nonsense, like coins.
Buying coins.
Sort of amulets, axes,
artifacts.
Are you talking about The Witcher here?
So just
in general
run-of-the-mill
chests.
dragon hoard. Just a dragon hoard worth of sort of trinkets nonsense. I have bought a pen that's a shark.
Amazing.
From a little-known sort of corporate app called AliExpress. I don't know if you've heard of AliExpress. It's basically specialises in tat. Chinese tat.
Cheap Chinese electronics and fake Lego. It's excellent for.
Wow. I'm just imagining what your garage is full of. Mine and Matthew's is there as a parking for the tip. Yours has got treasure troves and
Actually, my actual garage is full of. It's got a gym in it, so it's got some squats. It's weights, objects that weigh amounts. It's got some squat. Oh, there's a lot of squats in there. Have a look. You go in there, you can feel the squats.
Take a picture of me. I want to see a picture of a squat. Just waiting.
Right.
Let's come back on topic. Come on. I'm trying my best to be a host here. Okay. What's he put? What am I spending my money on? I think I'm doing the same as Dave. I'm spending a bit more on beer, but I think I've been spending more on beer since COVID. To be honest with you, and I refuse to quit.
Yeah.
Other than that, no, not much. Not really. In fact, anything. I've actually done a little bit of. Matthew Moore's been rubbing on me as well. Not rubbing off on me, but rubbing on me as well.
And is that what you've been spending your money on?
Yeah, on Matthew, paying for Matthew to rub himself.
Rubbing off.
I've cancelled a cinema subscription this month that I was barely using.
Is that because they were going into liquidation?
Especially
they don't exist
No,
anymore.
it was a different one, but yeah, round the corner. Downgrading particular streaming services to bare minimums, that kind of thing. It all kind of, yeah. So no, I've not, apart from beer, not much for me. And then his last question from Mr. Cy Stevens is, how many DeVitos can you squeeze into an Abbott?
Over to Joe.
1.26. If you're talking about height, linearly 1.26. If you're talking about mass, because Abbott is quite lithe, so he's quite tall and lithe. He's gracile is the technical biological term for an ape of that stature. He's a gracile ape, and Danny DeVito's more of a robust sort of type of ape. So by mass, coincidentally, the internet says they're exactly the same mass. So you could, depending on what you needed, if you needed an Abbott, you could stretch a DeVito, and if you needed a DeVito, you could always compress an Abbott.
Are you saying that DeVito and Abbott are essentially like Stretch Armstrong?
They're the same
just
thing.
Mould them into whatever
If there was a way to
you need.
get Stretch Armstrong and sort of splat Armstrong into Danny DeVito, I think we'd all have done it, so I don't think it's doable.
I think
Because I'd quite like to be able to...
I think that's a comprehensive answer.
That's an amazing fact that I'm going to keep with me to the day I die. Thanks for that. Okay, games I've been playing. I'm going to be really quick on this because we've done... Oh, just me and you, Dave, and just me and you left.
Yeah, everyone can go and, I don't know, get some speed in order to get themselves through it.
Yeah, okay, I'll do mine dead quick, mate, and then we'll pass over to you. So, I think I mentioned it in the last recording that we all did that I am replaying the Mass Effect series. I'm still in episode 2. I'm still in Mass Effect 2. Played about another 5 or 6 hours, and that game, you forget how awesome it is and how massive it is. I'm doing a lot more lore reading this time around than I did previously, which is probably why it's taking twice as long as I expected it to. Reading kind of all the kind of data caches and stuff like that. It's amazing, and like you've done with Joe with The Witcher and kind of like the books and stuff like that, I'm definitely going to be spending a bit more time in that kind of world outside the games because I think it's fantastic.
I've got to make a confession at this point. This should have been on my list, but I've been really rubbish at following up with it, and you've reminded me that I need to get back on.
I know
because we were supposed to do it at the same time.
Yeah,
right?
we got praised on our conversations about what we expected from Mass Effect last recording. So have you just not picked it up at all?
I think I had a quick play at it, but the reason I played a lot of those other games for a short amount of time is because you've got to sign up for a long time in it. But your Mass Effect puts me off that it's going to be an hour, but actually I'm going to sit doing nothing, like playing other small games for an hour. So I might as well get onto Mass Effect is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And
I need to stop mucking about and get onto it because you're already halfway through the second one, and I'm still at the very, very beginnings of it. So how are you getting up there? I know what the answer to this is going to be, but should I plod on? I think the answer, is a resounding.
Yeah, because I think this entire episode's been deja vu for me, but I think I mentioned it previously in the last one, is you'll find the first one a grind because it doesn't want to get anywhere really quickly. And you can't cheese it. You can't just run straight to the last mission kind of thing. You've got to, if you expect to get any kind of substance from it whatsoever, you've got to do some of the side missions, you've got to talk to all the characters around the ship. You've really got to kind of like play the game. But the Mass Effect 1 is a really good introduction to a really good universe and a really set of good, strong characters and story. In 2, it's like they've injected it with Hulk serum. It just gets bigger, stronger, better, and it's just very, very good. And it's in I think historically, I think if I remember from a kind of industry standpoint at the time when it came out way back when, I think it's one of those games that EA just made an absolute fuck ton of money off, but loads of reputation off as well because they bought BioWare, and I think it was one of the games that solidified EA as being still like a massive monster, which probably what got them the kind of the Star Wars license and stuff. I think eventually a couple of years down the line after that, because I think maybe Star Wars, Lucasfilm, Disney probably just thought, oh yeah, they're gonna do this and make it as good as Mass Effect, which obviously they've practically failed at. But yeah, no, in answer to your question, Joe, yeah, when you find the time, and you've got to find the time that you can dedicate to it so you can immerse yourself in it, don't just do an hour, mate. I know it's difficult when we've all got really busy jobs and active families and things like that. But if you can immerse yourself in it, set your alarm an hour early on a Saturday morning and play.
What you're saying is get your priorities right, sack off family and employment, and get on Mass Effect. Get playing 15-year-old computer games, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah, because that's what life's about.
They'd never played Uncharted, and this is a couple of years ago, and did the same thing with the Uncharted collection, and I just stopped after the first one, and I kind of think I should have just skipped it and gone straight to the second, because I've not even played Uncharted 4 now, and I think I'm missing out on that. And I'm just wondering, is there any merit in reading up what happens in the first one and jumping to the second one?
Yeah, you could, without any shadow of a doubt, jumping straight into the second, because the gameplay mechanics are better. You know, the actual combat is a lot more modern and a lot more fluid. So yeah, you could easily do it. Because jumping in, you don't have. It's one of those games that obviously a lot of people know this. So it's kind of teaching people to suck eggs, but it takes your character progression through. So even your level, but also your character's history that you choose and the decisions that you make. But if you went straight into the second, you can make those decisions yourself at the very beginning when you make a new character. Oh, remind us of that time. What did you do when? What was your intention when you were thinking about X, Y, and Z? And then you create your own.
Well, do you remember they did that because the first one didn't come out on the PlayStation, did it? So they had to kind of brute force a way of.
They couldn't port it, could they? It was impossible because it was a PlayStation 3 and it was the cell thingy bob, and they just couldn't. PlayStation couldn't figure out how to do it. EA/BioWare couldn't figure out how to do it. Yeah, so yeah, that was the catalyst of how that came around. Yeah, but yeah, Joe, I think you should. If you're looking,
keep going.
If you think
maybe,
yeah, I think prioritize what games you want to play. If you want something story-led, massive, really can pour your heart and soul into, then yeah, do it. If you just want something a bit more easy, pick up and pick down, then yeah, you're on the right lines with your Pokemon Go's and stuff. What else have I been playing? So I want to keep this brief if I can. I've actually started playing Fortnite since we last recorded.
It's in like that Epic game that all the kids play.
Yeah, because they, I don't know how it came about, but somebody's introduced me or mentioned that they got like a no build mode. Now I've picked up Fortnite years ago when it first came out, and the building mechanic put me off because people are just far too good at it, and it's cumbersome, and I'm got old reflexes, and people are better than me. But the no build mechanic is just a straight up shooter. It's basically, it's arena shooter, like PUBG and Warzone, etc., etc. So I think it was about 5 weeks ago or something like that. I downloaded it on my Xbox, played it because it's free, but you've got no V-Bucks. So I'm the most basic character ever, and I think a lot of people look at me just as they're trying to shoot me, going, "What? You're still the original guy? You're not Darth Vader? You're not Indiana Jones?
Don't be fooled."
yeah, exactly. But actually, yeah, it was really enjoyable. I think it was my first go, and I came second. My second go, I came first, and we actually got kind of won the arena kind of thing. So been playing that, and I've kind of got a couple of people kind of interested that in the Midlife Gamer Friday night community. So we've played it a couple of times on a Friday night, which has been quite fun. Dave's joined in on that as well. And then the last thing that I've been playing, and I looked on my Steam account earlier on, and in the last 2 weeks I've played 72 hours of this game in 2 weeks. A little bit. So yeah, Destiny. I think when everybody jumped back in for the free weekend or the free week that they were promoting, I think it sparked a lot of chatter about Destiny again. And even though I'd obviously notoriously got the expansion for this year, which includes all the kind of the seasons up until the next kind of expansion, I'd up until about 6 weeks I'd got like heavily involved in Elden Ring, which obviously was my Joker. So I'd put Destiny to one side because there's absolutely no way you can play both of them at the same time and have a job and a personal life and a wife and a drinking habit. There's no way you can do it. So yeah, and I think it was 2 weeks ago when yourself, Dave, and Joe, I think we started like talking about Destiny, and a couple of the old guard from Midlife game was like, I'm going to jump back in again, and I've been playing a lot of it, and I've been playing a lot of it with other people as well, which is the first time I've ever really played Destiny with friends. It's weird. It's great. It's fantastic. This Monday just gone. Attempted my first ever raid sober. Confession.
Ooh.
So it was
Which raid?
It was the King's Fall. So obviously one that
it's the best.
Yeah, a lot of people that have got a lot of fond memories of it from the original kind of release. I teamed up with a bunch of majority of Midlife gamers, a couple of their friends, jumped in, and it was. I've attempted it before when it first came out, and I'll be honest, I was probably 2 bottles of wine in that I shouldn't have been.
Yeah, you can't raid absolutely tanked up. You need to know that
I couldn't raid on the drink that I've had this evening, and I've only had like a couple of rums and a couple of cans. But we did it on Monday, and they're fun, aren't they? They're stressful fun. Like the sweat was pouring off my hands in just anxiety, stress, and just pressure to perform. It's so unsexual when I say it that way, but do you know what I mean? But it's enjoyable. But we unfortunately we got to the very first real encounter with the totems. If people know what nudge nudge wink wink.
Yeah.
For those that know, and we got better and better and better. But I think we were about an hour and a half to that point, and we had to quit because it got a little bit later in the evening that some people could afford due to kind of commitments the next day. But we're going to reconvene and give it a go next week. But yeah, I can see what raids are about now. They're actually, when you play with other people in something like Destiny, it opens up a brand new world on it.
Does it mean that you've got to pull some amount of weight? You can't always just rely on others.
Oh, mate, yeah, no. You don't realise with Destiny.
That raiding.
Go on.
No.
You don't. I'm just saying, like with Destiny, there is so many layers to the onion of gameplay. I have been playing it. I mean, let me just have a quick look on my Steam account. Let's just have a look what it just says. My total, and this is a total Steam playing. So I've only had my PC for not that long. 303 hours I've been playing on my Steam. That's not my PlayStation time, not my the rest of the kind of malarkey that goes along with it. And I've only just started working out or realizing that you can, if you attach certain mods to certain things, when you craft armor and weapons, they get better stats. Elemental wells, didn't even know what they were until about a week ago. There's just so many layers to how you play that game, and playing with people and playing, kind of well with people. Yeah, it does teach you a lot. Definitely. There's the base game, and like you said, like you said, mate, you jump in, you kind of think, there is just a lot here. Fucking hell, there's a lot more than you think.
Yeah.
Go on, Dave. What were you going to say about the game?
I was just going to say, it's just totally completely different game when you're playing it with people, or when you get into the raid game.
Yeah.
Like Matt said, you can't really be carried. You've got to pull your weight. Everyone's got a job to do in those raids, and you have to do it bang on. Yeah. Well, to be fair, once you've done it a number of times, you can blaze through it.
Are they still six? Are there still 6 players for a raid?
6 players, yeah. And currently there's no matchmaking, but they're bringing matchmaking in, so you could go in with a bunch of randoms if you wanted to. So the guys that I was doing it is exactly. You've got to like the people that you raid with, because if you don't like them, then you can quickly get to swearing. I went in with Lee and Kyle / Disco Beaver and a couple of people. Jace from Jay Stokes from the last blah blah blah. We all jumped in together, but because we all know each other, we can say, right, job 1 is your job. Do this, do that. Job 2 at the same time as job 1. Blah blah blah. There's so much. You can stand there in a room waiting for an encounter to take place, and you can spend 5 minutes planning it before you jump in and get killed within 30 seconds. And then you go back in and you plan it for another 3 or 4 minutes after you get killed, and then there's a lot of strategy involved in it. It's great. It is good, but it's for the dedicated, definitely.
Funny enough, I sent Joe a picture this week. It came up on my Facebook because you used to be able to send your PlayStation pictures to Facebook, and it was us doing the last Destiny 1 raid, the Wrath of the Machine raid.
That was a shambles.
2017.
Absolutely brilliant shambles. It was great.
Yeah, but we all
How
went
long
in
was it?
blind, and we never
Days.
killed the last one. But we had
You had a
several
poo
nights
sock and
of it.
everything.
Collectively, over and over, because we kept. Is that the one we kept coming back to?
Yeah.
Or was
yeah.
that-
We always. It was well after it actually came out, but all of us just completely ignored spoilers, and we'd all decided we were going to try and do this raid blind, and it was really, really good. That's half the fun with them. You either get into the mentality that you just want to do it, and you read the spoilers and you read the strategies and blah blah blah. I don't like that. I like to work stuff out and enjoy it for what it is, and that's what we did. So
That is a
great.
lot more fun because it was a group of mates, and it got quite regular for a while. I mean, the times I was going to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning after being
ridiculous.
Because we'd always have to then sort of debrief. So we'd play 3 hours failing a raid and then debrief on a sort of PvP for about half an hour afterwards. But it was great. And Neale, you're right. It's so much fun when there's a bunch of mates doing it. If you're comparing that to either solo missions or matchmaking and stuff like that. I mean, I have had fun matchmaking when there's been 1 or 2 of us and a group. Usually at the expense of the group that we've matchmaking with, or them at the expense of us, because they're far more skillful than us. But that's the one thing. That's the one thing I miss about playing loads of Destiny is there was a genuine community around it, and there was a proper that's how I know Dave, and that's probably the first time I would have played a game with you, Neale. Or I don't know if Matt, you've ever played it, but there was a lot of work. There was a lot of MLG stuff on there, and that's what brought me more and more into the community, I suppose.
This is going back to what we were talking about last time, isn't it? Where when you didn't have such a massive, wide variety choice of game, everyone would more or less jump on the same thing together. Which is increasingly, diminishing these days. Well, we're all getting older, and there's more games.
The thing is as well. On top of that, though, Dave, and kind of in line with what you're saying, Destiny obviously has very recently gone cross-platform as well. So I was PC, somebody else was PC, PlayStation. There's a couple of people who were on Xbox, and we did have to jump into a Discord chat just because the party chat was letting one particular person down, and you can't have one person not in communication with everybody else. That's impossible. That person's severely disadvantaged to kind of perform from the get-go. So, but the fact that you can all play seamlessly without any kind of frame rate issues and all that kind of shit.
Yeah,
it's a different game now than it was back when you guys were playing it. But I think the same mentality of camaraderie and community is definitely there. Right. I'm gonna have to move.
Just before you jump off that, I was just going to say it's just the same with the Fall Guys nights and Fortnite evenings that we've done. It's brilliant that anyone can jump on with whatever they've got.
Absolutely,
love it.
Absolutely. Right, we're going to come to you in a second, Dave. We're going to jump into another Facebook question, if that's all right, and then we'll come to you and the megathon of what you've been playing. Again, shall I just choose one of these at random? Yeah?
Of course.
No particular preference?
I think first, there's a certain someone that we need to talk about, isn't there?
Well then.
That's right, everyone. It's Russ Abbott's 77th birthday on September the 18th. He's not dead. God bless.
77!
Might need that fact checking.
I know if he is, it's unlikely to be on the news today.
No. What?
You could sneak anything on today. You know,
The thing is,
everything
do
on
you
Xbox
reckon-
was 4p today.
Do
Amazing.
you reckon there's going to be like a war announced and just nobody will give a shit because of today?
I might get all my dirty laundry out tonight. If I just
Yeah.
leak all of my shit that I know that someone's going to blackmail me for one
Yeah,
day.
exactly. Just like,
That's
so
it. We're going to WikiLeaks, Matt.
yeah. The Conservatives are going to fuck us over again tonight and no one will give a shit. Anyway, yeah, but the thing is, right, so the Russ Abbott inside DeVito question, is that current Abbott and current DeVito or DeVito and Abbott at their prime?
It's his current stats. That's all
Current
we've got
stats.
available.
I think there might be there's a rumour on the internet that they're quantum entangled, so that the question is they're always the same. So there's always a height ratio of 1.26, and they are literally exactly the same weight. I mean, Abbott takes a shit, DeVito loses weight, is what I'm saying.
So it's kind of like...
They got like a portal on their bum holes. So it's like the sort
yeah,
of...
one comes out of one, goes into another. So it's kind of like a really weird twins with... DeVito.
Yeah,
with
I
more
think
DeVito.
that was the first choice
with
for
more
the film
DeVito.
twins.
Yeah.
Are they like
It was
Morph
originally
and
Abbott,
Chad
but
from Tony
The
Hawk?
production studio wouldn't let them go with Russ Abbott as a casting choice, so they had to bring Arnold Schwarzenegger instead.
It's just unfair on the guy.
The buggers.
Yeah.
Could you imagine it?
77 though.
See you, Jim. He was going to do it as the character.
Yeah, he was going to. Or he's going to do it as the Bond character. Which
I reckon
forget.
DeVito would go wild as playing CU Jimmy. He really gets into stuff, though, doesn't he? He really drops the bombs.
Absolutely. Right. Okay. So let's go to a Facebook question quickly then. So I'm going to go... Okay, this should be dead straightforward and quick. Stu Whitehouse, the legend, the woodshitter himself. Let's do this. Ketchup or brown sauce on a bacon sandwich. By the way, you can only give one right answer. What? Well, you give your answer. That's the answer. So, Dave, on your perfect bacon sandwich, brown or red?
See, I like a bit of both. I've got Irish family. They have a thing called chef sauce, which is like brown sauce, but even sweeter. And that's excellent.
Is it?
But I
is
also
it-
like red sauce. So
there's a thing with-
I'm so on the fence for this.
But if you had to, with a gun to your head.
I'll probably ketchup it, to be honest.
Okay. I thought you were going to say like ketchup and mayonnaise, which is a particular mix as well, isn't it? Which is strange and weird. More, you've been asked this question. Probably, you know, Matthew, of all the years that you podcast with Darren for Midlife Gamer, you had your question section on that went on for years. You probably got asked this question more than somebody told you that they loved you. It was pretty much like every single.
Oh mate,
You must have been asked this question 6 times a week.
There's a few things you have stock answers for, and I have a stock answer for this.
Well then.
I base my sauce based on the colour of the protein. So if it's a bacon sandwich, I have red sauce, and if it's a sausage sandwich, I have brown sauce.
Boom. Duplicate that answer for me, because that's exactly what I have as well. If it's bacon, if it's salty bacon, you need the sweetness of red sauce. If you've got a sausage and it's kind of like deeper with like apple or whatever you've got in it, brown sauce to kind of lift it from there and kind of like savour it out a little bit. Joe, come on, Joe, you've got an awesome answer to this question. I know you have. Come on.
No, red. Like
okay,
I'd have red sauce. But I'm going to add to that.
Thought you might.
Whatever the hell anyone wants to have on their sandwich is all right with me. Like, if you want to have a bit of brown sauce on it, if you want to change your mind on a Tuesday and have a bit of brown sauce on it, it's fine. Do that.
What about if you wanted to put some Lego or petrol or something on? Is that okay?
If you're the kind of person that wants to do it, go for it. I'm not going to stop you.
Okay.
I'm a libertarian when it comes to sandwiches. The only thing is, if you want to put pineapple on your pizza, do it. It's fine. It's not going to hurt anyone, is it? I mean, do it.
That's a different question for a
Pineapple on
different time.
bacon. That's the question.
No.
I'm going to give it a try.
Let's not go there because that's another 20-minute conversation. So
Okay.
as a follow-up question, Paul Smythe has jumped in and said, well, following on from Sue, actually, on your bacon roll, is it a roll, bun, batch, or cob?
Cobb, Black Country, it's Cobb.
Okay.
I recognise them all. I recognise carb. I would probably just say roll. if I'm in my
So
house.
if you went to your local kind of greasy spoon, you went to the takeaway bacon. You say, "Can I have a bacon roll, please?" Yeah. Okay. Joe.
The object is a bacon butty. Like, that's what it is. It's a bacon butty. The bread stuff I'd probably call a bap.
Okay. So yeah, I'm where I grew up, it's a bap or a cob, but where I live now, it's a bread cake. Because I'm in South Yorkshire.
Why add the extra words? It's bread or it's bread cake.
It's a bread cake. So you can have a bacon bread cake, please. There you go. Okay, so with those lovely questions out of the way, let's move on to the mammoth list that is Dave Southall and the games he's played when he should be working. David! Looking all sheepish. Just because you actually get to play and finish video games like the rest of us, you tinker.
Well, this is what comes of good time management, early morning alarms, and
no sleep,
chronic lack of sheep and sleep.
You dirty bastard. So, please tell us, mate, what have you been playing and completing this month since we last recorded?
Right, we'll start off the completed then. Brace yourselves! Alright, so, Strange Brigade. I talked about this several weeks. Weekly group, so it's took us a long time. We've completed all the campaigns, all the DLCs. That is done, boxed off, finished. Fantastic, everyone should get that. I mentioned earlier, I'm totally not into playing huge games at the moment, but I decided to have a little trip down memory lane. I played. Have you ever played or seen Little Nightmares?
I've seen it. It's never played it.
People play it.
It's very sort of Terry Gilliam style horror game.
Yeah,
it's sort of weird. Room by room, 3D,
puzzly,
not
charming,
first person,
scary kind of.
Yeah, it's superb.
Weird sort of floaty physics to it.
Not really floaty physics, I wouldn't say. But yeah, it's proper. Like, taps into that childhood feeling of fear, not like grown up, oh god, the Tories are coming fear. It's a proper sort of,
which is a real
there's
fear.
Something under the bed, or this is just creepy as hell. So I'd already played that years ago when it came out, but I decided to go back and replay it because I'd never played the DLCs. So I played Little Nightmares, absolutely phenomenal game, and I also played the 3 DLCs that were released for it. And the twist at the end, that you have to play them all just for the final scene in the last DLC was a proper drop the mic, jaw drop, oh my god moment. It's one of the best scenes I've ever seen in a game, and it's barely anything. Like a screenshot would have showed you the same, but I was just like, oh sweet Jesus, that was incredible. So they were ace, done all them, and then I played through the sequel, which is an absolute technical powerhouse. Again, it's so unsettling. It really, really taps into that fear. I've never felt so unnerved, but interested, and it was phenomenal. But there were a few mechanical issues in it that were really annoying. Like in the sequel, in Little Nightmares 2, there's some combat, and I didn't appreciate that very much. There's very little, but the bits that are, I had to repeat quite a few times, which, takes the edge off that atmosphere. But both of those games, absolutely phenomenal, brilliant, terrifying. So after that, I needed a good calm down, so I played a game called Assemble with Care. This is a very, very short Steam and iOS game. Beautiful narrated story, very short, and all it is basically you have some objects, you have to take them apart and you have to fix them. So you manually unscrew things and you attach wires, and very, very light puzzling. One hell of a just utter chill out, brilliant, relaxing game. Loved it. Finished that off. Community Night Bloodshore, obviously, we all completed that. That's another one you can put on your tick list.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Tick.
Yeah. Then I played a weird first-person. I don't know how to explain it. It's like a cross between a walking simulator and a puzzle game. It's called the Spectrum Retreat. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of this.
I haven't, no.
Yeah, you're sort of stuck in this hotel manned by sort of mannequins, androids. It's quite a low budget affair. Excellent atmosphere, really interesting story. It's almost portally, some of the puzzles. Okay. It's all about moving colour blocks and things like that. Really creepy, really weird. Got a touch of The Prisoner about it, the old series. That was good. Annoyingly, it's one of those games where you've got a choice right at the very end. So you either have to play the whole game through again and choose the other one, or you just simply fuck it off, which is what I did. So yeah, no getting all the achievements in that. Highly recommended though. I've been playing through Fall Guys quite a lot. I cannot get enough of this game. I love it. Just doing every now and then they have a sort of set of challenges that you need to do. Like there was a Sonic one where it was all about running fast and collecting rings to get a pair of Sonic trainers. So obviously I had to do that. So I've been keeping up with doing those. I finally completed Party Hard, that single screen murder 'em up, where it's basically people annoying you at a party. Yeah, I've done all of that now. That was just brilliant.
Is that just Neale? By completion? Is that level based? Is that like each party?
Yeah, there's like 12 levels, so 12, you just go through them, and you can go through and get all the achievements. But
it was one of the first games I bought when I got my PC, because people were talking like, it's PC only, it's a great game, and I think I did about 7 or 8 parties, and I just thought, God, it's getting really hard. And also, it's like, does this end? Is this what they mean by, like, this kind of perpetual kind of game? Like, it's,
No. It's very set length.
Okay, cool.
You can do all sorts to get, like, other characters, but they don't really do a fat lot. Yeah, great game, that. Love doing that. Now, one of the games that's been released on Game Pass now, and we were going to talk about games that we thought we'd be missing, is a game called Immortality. So that's the same guy who did Her Story and Telling Lies I told you about recently. Now, I played Her Story absolutely ages ago when it came out on iOS, and I couldn't remember a fat lot of it, and I just played it through ASAP really, so I got an ending and just went, yeah, that'll do, I've had enough of that. So I decided to go back and play that through, especially because I played Telling Lies recently and I didn't enjoy it that much. Her Story is a different matter altogether. It's a classic. It's one of those first games that I think he's been trying to get the same amount of glory. Now, I know Immortality is getting ridiculously, insanely good reviews, so it's getting 10 out of 10s and things everywhere. So I went back and I had to play that through again. But I got so much more out of it this time. I think it's mainly because I was playing on the PC as well, so I could just type in the answers. So what that is, I know I don't know if any of you have seen this, is it's basically like 1 to 3, there might even be 5-second long video clips, some of them might be 2 or 3 minutes, and you just pick up on keywords and you type those in and you search on those words, and you just you discover more of these clips and you piece together the story. I can't tell you anything about the story because that would spoil the whole thing, but just brilliant. I had to play it through and get like 100% on that. Absolutely fantastic. This is a stupid one. Somehow, while doing my Microsoft reward points, I've been trying to do an achievement a day. So I have 1000 G'd fully completed Gang Beasts, which is a stupid fighting game about little clay men, a bit like Abbott and DeVito, really.
Or Clay Fighter 64.
Yeah, well, this is meant to be played as a like 8-player stupidathon between your friends, but I was just playing it with online random people. Really, great fun. So that's all the games I have completed. So the next ones will be the dabbled or in progress games. So again, Borderlands 3. We're probably about 10 minutes from the end of the third DLC. That's with my weekly chums. I wasn't too keen on this one, this Bounty of Blood. It's a sort of cowboy themed DLC for Borderlands 3, and it wasn't great. And then for some reason we whacked the difficulty up to almost max, and then the story also did the same. It also went just to another level. So we all went from thinking it was a bit shit to absolutely loving it. As I said, we got probably about 10 minutes to finish that, and then we've got one final DLC to do before the end of the year. So that's worked out beautifully for us. Went back to another multiplayer game with my friends, and that is Dead Island. Have you ever played this?
Loved Dead Island. Loved it. Love to play it through again now. Well, obviously with the sequel being
Neale,
confirmed.
What a laugh this game is. It's highly physics based. So it's just leaping around, smacking people around the heads with oars and cutting the arms off huge lumbering zombies. It's just really funny.
I just remember playing it with, I think I remember, when it first came out, and just seeing the physics of people jumping over like sand dunes and kicking somebody from like 16 meters away, but just the foot just out at a right angle for like 40 seconds longer than it should be to kick a zombie in the face. Just being just so funny. But there's kind of a bit of kind of like weapon crafting and stuff like that involved, wasn't it?
It's quite a lot. Yeah.
I remember.
And every character's got like a speciality. So like the Oriental lady Zhan, she's good with bladed weapons, but she's got a perk where you do much more damage from jumping attacks. So it just looks hilarious to everyone else because I'm just in the air like hopping around like a bunny, hacking people away, and so on. Amazing game.
I'd love to play it. Well, I'm looking forward to the sequel, which has obviously been finally properly announced in the last 2 weeks.
That's why we've gone back and done it.
Yeah, jealous. I'll be picking up the sequel when it comes out. Go on, then, mate.
This was absolutely shite. So we also played
this one was
Zoom
absolutely
call.
shite.
Well, no, this was a Zoom call thing. Sorry, I should just go back to another social night. I decided one night that I fancied a night of gaming, but I really fancied seeing people's beautiful faces. So I organised a community Zoom night, put it out there, and that's basically me just streaming Steam games. But you can do things like, dial in with your phone or use that as a controller. You were all there, weren't you, guys?
I was. I joined late and ad hoc joined, and it was deep in when I joined, and it got deeper, and then I woke up the next morning not remembering much of it.
Yeah, I was severely hungover the next day. Just that hungover where you just think, "Ow." That's affected my core. That's like tarnished my core being.
This has taken a few years out of me. This has.
Yeah, I know I look like I've had a tough paper round, but this has fucked me up.
Well, I am almost sure
I joined
sorry.
in, and I joined in, and there was like, you guys were all there. What? It was there. I was like, where have you guys all come from? It was like a perfect storm, and I'm sure it was a bank holiday weekend as well. And I spent a lot of my time just laughing my head off at the opportunity of being around like great people with an excuse of whatever Dave's got to put on the screen.
Joe, are you still there?
I am still here.
God, he was perfectly paused. It was like he was planking. That was fantastic.
I know this bit's boring, but you can try and talk at me sometimes.
The brain's just turning to mush at the moment.
Poor chap. No, I thought it was those kind of interactive games on PC when you play on your phone and you've got like there's like 6-8 of you kind of trying to outwit each other in how crude but clever you can be are really good nights. I've never had a bad night on those, and I think we should do them much more often, Dave. Because
I would love to do that again. I'm game for those anytime because they're so much fun. It's so much more personal than when you meet up in like a game party.
Exactly.
When you can see each other's faces and you're just hysterically crying, laughing. It's the best.
No, it was my first sort of experience of it, and I would love to. I'd definitely do it again. It was brilliant. It was.
I'll just add at this point, there is zero chance of a stream of this ever happening for legal reasons.
No, not happening.
So yeah, I'll put another one on there. I booted up. I got from a Humble Bundle or something last year. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? So I played this with friends. Oh my god, it's absolutely terrible. It's the most Americanized version ever, and it's got speech that goes like this, that you have to sit through for hours. Oh, it's awful.
Massive skip.
Right, next one. This is one that can't be finished, I don't think. It's a ridiculously addictive game. Have you seen this? It's the number one game on the Steam Deck at the moment. Everyone seems to have discovered it this year. It's called Vampire Survivors. I think Matt would utterly dig this. It's a sort of roguelike where you don't... It's like a shooter that you don't shoot on. All you do is basically walk around and there's hordes and hordes of enemies coming at you all the time. And you sort of go along and you pick up power-ups. So you might get like Bibles rotating around you, or you might pick up a staff that shoots at the nearest enemy. And you basically just got to wander through all these hordes and hordes and hordes of enemies and mow them down and see how far you can get. It sounds boring, and it is incredible.
What's it called?
It sounds what?
It sounds incredible. What's it called?
Vampire Survivors. It's a PC game. I don't know if it's on anything else. I had it off a Kickstarter last year.
I'm sure.
And I only decided to pick it up because I heard about it's like the number one game on the Steam Deck now.
I'm sure Matthew.
It's brilliant.
I'm sure Matthew can work it into his rules somehow to be able to purchase it and play this.
Well,
I've saved
saving.
Yeah, I saved this much on this much, so that's free money, is it not?
Look, I bought condoms through Amazon yesterday because I just don't have shops near me. I'm having to use Amazon to send me condoms. I don't know what world I live in. It used to be the hardest, most embarrassing thing in the world to buy.
Oh, there's something else then.
I'd imagine that where Matt lives, it's like out in the middle of nowhere, right? And it's like, have you ever seen Doc Martin? They've got a chemist there, Mrs. Tishel. I imagine it's like that, and she's like, "All right, Matthew, are you coming in for your condoms again?"
For her pleasure.
Extra small, we've got them in.
I've already signed up to the local co-op. I'm part of the community, and there is also a community shop, I understand, that I will be frequenting very soon.
What kind of community shop is this? That sounds like it's got a back door that's painted black or something.
Like a speakeasy.
Anyway.
Any more, Dave?
Yeah, I'm about halfway through, I'll be honest. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Right,
guys.
Life is Strange. Everybody tells me Life is Strange is one of the best games. It's
right.
so brilliant. It'll change your life. Not for me at all. Absolutely hated it. Played the first episode. Don't care about anyone. Set a girl on fire. Do not care. Never playing again. Bye. Alien Isolation, played a lot of that. It's first person horror game. I was shitting my pants. I only played it late at night. However, it's all got a bit samey. 8 hours in. Sack that off. Bye. Spelunky 2. This game is just too fucking hard. It just is. There's no way for me to get good at this game. I'm not that bad at games. I completed Souls games. I can play Defender well. I can play all sorts. Every single game is just insta-death instantly. Buy Spelunky 2. You're not as good as the first one. Get fucked. Number 2. 2 more games. Can't complete these. This is why they're in this section. Bezier on the Switch. It's like Geometry Wars, but it isn't Geometry Wars, but it's great. Next. Hyper Sentinel. It's like Iridium, but it's not Iridium. It's brilliant. Next.
Right. Imagine if Dave did his entire list like this.
I will do from now on.
It'll be hilarious. 2, it'll be about a minute long. It's like a 10-word review of every single game. No, it was hard. I'm good at games, but this is hard. Next. It was just so good.
Yeah. Next one is a game that I've already discussed with Neale because I couldn't stop playing this and I was obsessed with thinking about Neale while doing so. It's a point-and-click game called Yorkshire Gubbins. It's basically a weird, stupid sci-fi type adventure. I think Day of the Tentacle, set in Yorkshire.
To be set up my way.
Plenty of barn cakes and special meat and things like that.
Yeah.
It's utterly hilarious. I love it. And I was just about to complete it and then it crashed and it wiped my save. So I've now got to go back and play the entire thing again.
Are you going to play it all again though? To say you
because it was bloody hilarious.
Nice.
So yeah, I got 2/3 of the way through. I just started the last episode, which, spoiler, is a musical. It was brilliant, and then it crashed. So, Yep, you have to get this.
After our conversation, I added it to my Steam wish list. It's $3.99. I'll pick it up in the new year. It won't be my first purchase on New Year's Day, but I'll pick it up, Dave. Don't you worry.
It's probably the most British game I've ever played in my life. It's hilarious. Next one. I'll keep this short and sweet, but like Matt's conversation about Age of Booty earlier, I've been watching Amazon The Lord of the Rings sequel, so I had a real hankering for some Tolkienisms, and I used to play this 360 game called Guardians of Middle-earth. I love MOBAs, like Dota and Heroes of the Storm. I play Heroes of the Storm every day still. And I wondered if anybody was still playing it, just like Matt wondered if that. So I started playing it for a bit, absolutely nobody. And then someone popped in, and then I had exactly the same speech as Matt. Oh, there's a bunch of us who play it. We play it once a week. Well, here's the Discord. Come and join us. So I went on the Discord, blah, blah, blah. There's about 9 people there. I just went, nah. Leave Discord.
It was 10, now 9.
Yeah. So there you go. Guardians of Middle-earth. Just coming back to that after years. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, right. I'll do some retro, but this is not everything. This should have gone on my completions list. Actually, I decided to play through. I don't know if you ever heard of this. Back in the old days of the Atari 2600, the original adventure called Adventure, which looks very much like a Spectrum ASCII character kind of thing. I just thought I've never finished that, so I felt I owed it to myself. So I went back and I finally, after 40 years, finished Adventure on the Atari 2600. It was brilliant.
Wasn't Adventure...
It wasn't brilliant. It was cack. But it was nostalgic.
Yeah, it's 40 years old. It's, wasn't Adventure the game that was mentioned prolifically through Ready Player One, with the first ever
with
Easter egg
the dragon and the Easter. Yeah, it's the first.
First ever.
So
Okay.
that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go back and say to myself, I have done that. So now I have actually done that.
Cool.
Talking about old games that are shite. Flashback 2 is coming out. Now been delayed till next year. Well, they can delay it till 2099 because I went back and played the original Flashback this week. Again, I've got about 3/4 of the way through it. It's just infuriating. You just want to pull your teeth out. It's
Really?
It's so annoying to play. The controls are abysmal.
I know they were, but why did we like it 20 years ago? Why was it great? It was a rotoscope game, isn't it? Like the sequel to Another World.
Yeah, sequel to Another World. Yeah, honestly, Matt, try and play. It's one of those games where you've got to be just in the right place in order to jump
it was
up,
horrible.
and then you press another button and you just do a backflip or something and fall off, and so you got to do it all again. It's just death after death. The atmosphere and so on are spot on. It's really, really good. If there was like a more modern version with better controls and so on, it would be brilliant.
Cyberpunk?
Or Flashback 2, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, it's absolutely hard as balls as well. It's one of those as well where you can weave your way through all the level and then you've missed like a pixel somewhere halfway across the map and you have to go all the way through again with all the tribulations and even my patience was tested on that. So yeah, I played through there was the Streets of Rage 4 re-release recently. That was excellent, brilliant, but a lot of people like myself preferred like the old versions that were like the Mega Drive. Now there's like a free version which Sega actually blocked, but it's still being worked on and it's still out there and it's easy to get called Streets of Rage Remix. That is the version to play. It is incredible. If you like scrolling beat 'em ups and you like the music from those games, get it. It's free. If you want to get it, just ask me. I'll just send it to you. It's really small. There you go. I played loads more Tempest as usual. I think Baron joined me when I was having a grumpy night, so I decided to stream some. Then the capture card broke and it went all mental.
Yeah,
and he said it was like drugs.
I honestly thought that somebody had spiked my drink, and by somebody I thought my wife, because that's all the person I saw that day. Because halfway through the stream I was like, the music's still going, but the visuals are just fucked. It was weird, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was actually bugged, but it's good. I love that game. That is my ultimate just pull on, chill out game. Also, Jeff Minter liked one of my tweets this week, so I'm a very happy man.
Well done. Is that what you done?
No, I've still got more.
Fuck
Hold on.
me, Dave.
Right, so I've been watching the new series of Beavis and Butthead, which is absolutely hilarious.
Is it a series?
On Paramount.
I thought it was like a movie.
It's so funny. Yeah, there was a movie called Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe, but there's also a series. So there's been like 6 episodes so far, but each episode is like 2 stories in it. It's proper hilarious. So obviously, what do? You go back and play a Beavis and Butthead inspired DOS game, don't you?
Of course you do, David. Of course you do.
So yeah, I played through one called. Hold on. So I played through one, which I've played through loads of times in the past.
There's plural.
No, there's 2.
Hold on. He's only played the one he's played before, Neale.
Oh right, okay. He did that first, obviously. Okay,
come on then. Virtual Insanity, which was really, really, really funny. However, there's one that I didn't know called Beavis and Butthead Do You. So I've spent ages setting it up. So if somebody wants to come and play on the stream with me, we can work out. We've got another adventure which I've never done based on Beavis and Butthead. So that'll be a stream one day. God, I hate myself. Anyway.
No, you don't.
Played possibly the best arcade game I've ever played in my life the other day. It's called The Cliffhanger Edward Randy. I bet you've never heard of that. It's like all the most over-the-top 80s action movies bundled into one. I'll let you discover that for yourself. Obviously, I played more betting games. I've been playing Jockey Grand Prix. Brilliant. Love that. And then I finally fucking one-credited R-Type. Yes! However, I didn't do it on stream. So I'm going to do it again now. And that's it.
Well done, mate.
And this suggestion's with a lot of love. I'm going to suggest we do this early next time, so that Dave's bit's done, and we can work out whether we've got 2 hours or 10 minutes left at the end for the rest of us.
Yeah. No,
that's brilliant, Dave. It's brilliant. It's a hell of
honestly,
you're doing loads.
The thing is, it's an achievement compared to the rest of us, definitely. Okay.
My favourite bit by far, though, was those sort of 10-word reviews. They were amazing. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic, though.
I'll work on that for next time, then.
To hear that the sequel wasn't as good as the original, especially.
Yeah.
You weren't as good as the first one. Don't bother.
Next. Okay. Okay. So, Dave, as always, thanks for that, dude. That is you champion us as being people that actually play video games, and I love it. It's great. The fact that you complete stuff that in the time that I'm actually sleeping, you've completed a game and moved on to the next one, and I'm still stuzzing. It's fantastic.
Now you see that without this, Dave just does this anyway. This is just Dave's MO. This is Dave's routine.
I know.
It's nice for a change to get it documented.
Yeah, this is my life basically.
It's
been this way since 1978 or so.
Exactly. Okay, let's jump into some of the Facebook questions. Then we've got a couple more to answer. So, okay, Brian Riley's asked. He said, "I'm moving house with no access to a PC or a PlayStation 5. I've got a low-end laptop and my phone for the next few months. God, what kind of house are you moving into? What games would you recommend me trying in this period?" So he's got his phone.
Survivors.
Everything off Dave's list from the retro bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. You know what? The game that I think I when I first saw this question, the game that I saw is, Matthew, what's your number one game on Steam? I see you play FTL, motherfuckers.
Oh, baby, you cannot go wrong with FTL.
Get FTL on your laptop.
For 5 months, done.
Away you go.
There you go, Brian. I think that's definitely would be my answer as well. You could always do Minecraft as well on something low end. You can always waste 5 or 6 hours trying to survive. Yeah, exactly. His second question, which I didn't even realise that he had there, so this is... also, recently, there's been spoilers going around about a new game. How do you guys avoid them? So, how do we avoid... Well, this is quite a large question, isn't it?
Live like a hermit.
Yeah.
Don't read any news.
Yeah, you got to ask yourself the circles that you hold. And if you don't want spoilers, you probably can't hang in them circles.
Yeah.
Like, do yourself a favour.
I've muted at least 3 Facebook Messenger groups I'm in, because that's what people just are talking about. Oh, I'm playing this. So yeah, it's about just removing yourself, and then you realise you don't need it in the first place, which is great.
I find this weird because I don't really get into spoiler territory. Like, I tend to mute everything on Twitter that isn't basically my friends. I read a lot of news sites and things about games, and I read Reddit and stuff like that, but everything seems to be pretty curated, so I can't remember something that was actually spoilt for me, because I'm quite careful about things like that. You know, I don't like movie spoilers, don't like game spoilers. Stop talking to dickheads if they're spoiling things for you.
It sounds like you're hanging out in the wrong place, Chief.
Yeah.
Come on, Brian.
Unfollow or a lot of things on Twitter is the other thing.
Okay. Yeah, great advice for everybody, not just for Brian. Yeah.
Just life.
So, just life in general. So, let's move on to Kath Macaulay. When are we going to get Kath on to a blah, blah, blah? Macaulay. When are we going to go on to a blah, blah, blah? We've got to do it before the end of the year, haven't we?
Well, I hope so, because I ain't doing any more after that.
When are we doing it before the end of the year? Yeah, but are we doing the last one, Dave? Do you reckon we should be a December special for Kath?
Stew around November, December, Kath. Kath's got to be, because she's the handover.
Yeah, okay. So, she's got 2 questions for us. The first one, I don't think that her provider could possibly answer this, is why isn't my broadband working? Joe, why isn't Kath's broadband working?
Oh, Kath.
Oh,
pay the bill.
Kath. So, yeah.
Or there's a cable unplugged. Or you've got an old dodgy router. But we're not going to save your internet, Kath. And I don't know how you posted this.
Yeah.
I think you might be having us on. Maybe you have got internet.
Unless she's using 3G from her
Kath's
phone.
just recently moved house, so I'm thinking, have you left the router at the old house?
The distance, the signal distance is just too far.
I'm just putting it out there. I don't know.
Unless you've moved next door, it's not going to be strong
Have you got
enough.
the right password? Have
It's
you
a
got,
mannerism
instead
of
of an
things.
actual laptop, are you just looking at a picture of one?
Yeah. Is it a book you think is the internet?
Have you wrote router on a bit of paper and put it behind the telly? I don't know. There's just not enough facts presented to us to
you know what it
diagnose
is?
this.
This is quite a simple question, but there's far too many answers. This is where we are.
All right. Try a next question.
Right. Can I nominate somebody else to read this question out, because there's absolutely no way. Go, Joe, please. Please, Joe, please.
There's a type of parasite that takes over an ant's brain, and it makes it climb a blade of grass to wait for a hungry cow. The parasite then reproduces in the cow's lower intestine. When the cow drops its feces, the parasites wait for ants to approach, and the cycle continues. Playing Grounded on Game Pass is most like being the ant, the cow, the feces, or the parasite.
Never played it.
Never played it.
Never played it either.
Dave, you've definitely played it.
I have a question about the
Please
question.
played
So
it.
I'd like Kath to get back in touch with us again, because there are 2 parasites that sprang to mind that perhaps infect ants. One of them is like the cordyceps, Ophiocordyceps unilateralis, which is the parasite that makes the ant's brain go bigger, and it sort of looks like it's growing something out and just paralyses it. The other one, I think this is the one she's talking about, is the Dicrocelium dendriticum, which makes the ant behave like that. So basically, Kath, you've left us with a question that's unanswerable because we don't know which of the ant parasites you're talking about.
Shame on you, Kath.
Define there's 2. You need to define which parasite.
There's 2 types of T-fowl, and you're talking about, Kath. We need to know which T-fowl it is. To be able to answer
And none
that
of us have
question,
played Grounded on Game Pass either. So
yeah. No, also, none of us have played it, apart from potentially Dave.
I have.
Of course,
I played
Of
it.
course you have.
Well, it was in preview for about the last 18 months. So I reckon you're more like the cow, because you're the victim in this situation, ultimately.
well,
And
in
you get to wonder about it. Yeah.
The cow. I'll grant you on your second point, Dave. I accept that without reservation that you get to wonder about it as a cow. But I think the ant is more the victim than the cow in that, because the cow just lives its life, right? Just eats a bit of stuff.
Yeah,
does
but
pit.
in Grounded, the ants attack you quite viciously.
Okay.
Big ants.
Does the game involve that
like as
parasite
big
somehow?
as Digby, the biggest dog in the world. That's not bad.
Is he a time dog? Is he a time dog at all? Time hound, baby?
Digby's
Time
I don't
cow.
know. I'm not sure if there's a time cow.
documented instances of time travel.
There's a time cow involved, and its intestines is its flux capacitor. Okay, so
It's got
moving
4.
on to
Time cows have got 4 flux capacitors.
4. Imagine how quickly, it's more than 88 miles an hour, isn't it? It's what's 88 times 4, Joe? 88 times 4.
I'm off the clock.
Fuck off.
I'm not getting paid for this.
That's absolute bullshit answer. Should have been like that. Okay, so Mark Palmer asks another question. He says, we're now 9 months in. At the beginning of this, did you have one game where you said, no matter what happens during this year, I've bought this game, I've never touched it before, and I'm going to play it during Year of Shame? Have you started it, and have you completed it?
Super easy. Yeah, Elden Ring, done.
Bastard answer.
I refer back to my very casual way of handling this year, and I probably don't have an answer for that.
Yeah, that's a very appropriate answer for your nonchalant answer, Matthew. I think for me, the game that I thought that I did come to this year and complete, I thought that I was, having played hundreds, if not maybe 1,000 hours of it, I'd actually get to the end of Fallout 4, but I've not picked it up all year. That was a game I thought, no, this year, do it. Get to the end, see the end content, fuck everything else. But every single time I've played it this year, like 2 or 3 times I've picked it up, I've been distracted. Joe?
So, well, there's a few. The big one, the one that I really thought would be done by now, is The Witcher on Ali's PlayStation.
Of course.
There's a load of Ali's PlayStation ones that have not been touched like I thought they would have, really. And I think maybe we'll get into this a bit more in the next podcast chat that we have, I think, a little bit. But yeah, that's the one. That's the one that I think there's still a chance. There's still a little chance of getting through it. But that's the big one.
Cool. Excellent. Okay, we've got a couple more questions, but we'll cut it off at this one. So, our guest host of the last blah 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 was Jay Stokes, and since then he's come and actually dropped us a question, guys. So he says, as we head towards the end of your challenge, who do you have your eyes on in our fine community to take up the baton in the next Year of Shame? Who would you choose just to fuck them over? So I think to answer this question nicely and succinctly, think of one person who you'd like to nominate to be in our shoes next year, whether they accept it or not. Go, Dave.
Mine is Mark himself, because I keep saying, but he'll be superb at it because he's so good at not spending and playing what he's got already that he just breeze it. That's my answer.
All right. Well, I'm going to go next. So, firstly, Jace, I know that you want to do the next year because we kind of teased you when we did our show with you, and you were like, "Oh, no, I kind of missed this idea of like hanging out with you guys, doing all this other stuff." And you're the one who just posted this in there, so I like the idea that we may have stroked a little twinge inside you, and maybe you're interested in looking into the next year. But everything aside, who would I have on the next Year of Shame? I would have Mr. Darren Baldock. And guess what? I won't be on the show. I ain't doing another one of these. But just another excuse to have a couple of hours every month of Mr. Darren Baldock in my ears. Wouldn't that be nice?
That'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't that be nice, eh?
That would be absolutely fantastic. I agree with that. Joe, have you got anybody that you think would be good?
I think that now is a good time for anyone who's in the group or in the Midlife gaming group that's thinking, I quite fancy that, to get in touch. I think that would be good. I can think of some people who do a great job of it. I think Watley would be good on it. He'd be good fun on it.
See, that's the thing.
Good value for money, but I don't think he'd do it.
No, he wouldn't. See, I think you're right. He
likes his toys.
Yeah, I thought of, because instantly when I saw this question, I just thought, right, I saw who would you like to fuck over, and I thought, you know what? I know a lot of people in Midlife Gamer and on the fringes of Midlife Gamer that are very toy frivolous orientated, and Watley would be one of those. I would have thought. I also thought of Matt Jones as being a potential, because he needs Year of Shame. He buys every single game, and he doesn't get to play. He buys every single game that comes out, and he only probably plays about 70% of them, if not 50% of them. So if anybody, he doesn't need to, because he can afford to do it, obviously, because otherwise he wouldn't do it. But he's just one of the ones that would get the most reward out of it. So yeah, my answers would have been Watley just for sheer kind of podcast value, and Matthew Jones for sheer fucking pain and anguish it would cause him.
See, as we've
and I actually love
Watley
that guy.
probably isn't going to do it.
No, neither would Jones.
He couldn't. Watley couldn't because of his career.
So no, that's true. Actually, that is true. I reckon fellow Lost runner Ross would be a good choice. Just to see if he got Ross Grieve, who I ran around Birmingham with, got completely lost and everything else.
Oh, Ross Grieve, good grief. Yeah, no, actually, that's a good shout because he can't help himself but buy new games as well. He's on all of them.
I've got a feeling that Grieve might be the one who picks up on other people's purchasing habits. Like he sees where people go and he's like, "Oh, I want part of that. I want part of that."
Yes. Yeah, I agree with you. Excellent. Okay, so I think there's another set of questions in there, but I think we'll probably leave those until next time. All right, guys, we've been recording for quite some time now. Is there anything else we want to discuss before we wrap up?
Well, let's think. We've discussed how old Russ Abbott is. We've discussed the size and the masses of both Russ Abbott and Danny DeVito. So those two are ticked.
Yep, done.
So in which case, I think we're probably done.
I think we've covered all bases by just... So we know that if you stretch a DeVito, it's the same mass as an Abbott. And if you squeeze an Abbott... God, that's like a concertina of fun, isn't it? Do you mean...
And we know that Joe Cooper can sneak in through any crowd like an Assassin's Creed character via someone's anus.
He will hold B and he will mingle.
Yeah. God, imagine just being inside, just holding onto somebody's anus and that being your gift to get into. It's great. It's fantastic. Okay, so we've got, obviously because we've done a blah, blah, blah this month, we've got a very special guest who's about to jump into the recording and give you the domestics. I pass you over to the fantastically beautiful and sensationally handsome Mr. Jason Stokes.
The Year of Shame Challenge podcast is available from all the usual podcast services. Search for the Year of Shame Challenge. You can find us on the Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Year of Shame, or email on yearofshame@gmail.com. You can also find us on the Midlife Gamer Discord or the Midlife Gamer Facebook group. Just type in midlifegamer.net.
And then he's done it. Okay.
Worth mentioning. He mentions midlifegamer.net at some point during that. The lights may have gone out at one point this week.
Not again.
Don't worry.
They're back up, aren't they?
Matthew's put the 10 pence back in the slot, and we've got another credit. We're up and
We're in.
I guarantee you, for being a community manager for the last 8 years, probably longer, nobody's going to that website any longer. So I won't even worry about it.
Facebook site. No.
But people aren't even looking for that website any longer. Don't worry about it, Dave. It's fine. Okay, so let's crescendo, people. Let's gather together. Let's huddle on this last minute or two of the recording for this evening. It's been fantastic to speak to you all. Thank you so much for being excellent and being you. Joe, good luck in going back to work and just being you awesome self again. Fingers crossed you can be available for let's do a at the movies next week, guys, if we can. Let's Dave host us through some absolute dating nightmare that Matthew wants to be involved in. He wants to pick and choose like Tinder, but live. But apart from that, cheers, guys. Really appreciate it. Loved the time.
Cheers.
Let's all catch up very again soon. And you guys out there in podcast land, be mathical to each other. Yes, I've bookended a joke from the very start of the podcast. I'm a comical genius. Good night.
Good night. That's it. You're fucked.
And then you got Time Hound after you. You're fucked.
Time Hound. Yeah.
Don't talk about Time Hound.
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
We've
you like me
already
to...
talked about and will be talking about Time Hound.
We will be going to talk about Time Hound.
It's literally what I was about to say. As I said, we are about to, and there may be more and less. Time Hound.
Time Hound. We are Time Hound right now.
Are we all... Like say, can we call this podcast Time Hound?
We already did.
Or can Time Hound call us a podcast? What did you say then, Joe?
We already did.
Time travel. Funny.
Funny that I don't get it.
Speaking of time travel, that cues up one of the
side note,
emergency questions.
do any of your wives stroke partners absolutely hate time travel movies and just not able to grasp them?
No, and I actually don't think we'd be
think
together
it
if that was the case.
Must be a regional thing.
Are you saying Brummy women can't fathom time travel?
Yeah, I'm just not. That's it. You've never seen a yum Doctor Who yet.
Yeah.
Let me be Sonic Screwdriver.